What's going on, Facebook? Northeast Kayak Fishing TV. Tonight we got Anthony Notaroberta. I hope I pronounced that right. He's the Long Island Kayak Bass Fishing Angler of the Year. Not once, not twice, but 3 times Angler of the Year. So we got a bunch of questions for him on how he's so successful. Guys, I got to give a big shout out to Mr. Ken Wood before we even get started. He's down at the 10 in Kissimmee, Florida. He came in first place on day 1. One more day, buddy. You got this. Bring it home to New England, man. We need it in the Northeast. Let's get some respect. So without further ado, we're going to bring in Anthony himself. How's it going, Anthony?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm sure you've been tracking the 10 and the 10 Invitational for the
Oh
past
yeah,
few
before we
days.
get started, let's give a big shout out to Ken Wood. That's awesome, man. He's a great guy. I've fished with him, in a lot of tournaments and stuff, and yeah, he's a really good dude, and I'm rooting for him. Couldn't happen to a better guy. I hope he holds the lead throughout tomorrow and takes the win. So bring it back to the Northeast, brother.
Yeah, me too, man. It's exciting. I've been stuck on the live feed there and watching the leaderboard and all the updates that Scott Buch has been doing with the drone and stuff, which I think is absolutely sick. I don't know if you got a chance to see any of the drone footage.
Yeah, I was watching it at work today. We had kind of a slow day, so and yeah, I tuned in. That drone footage is really good, man. I
Yeah,
like that. It's definitely a good new addition, and you get some live footage, and you can fly around to different anglers, see what's going on. So that's cool.
yeah.
I hope I got one over my shoulder at the national championship.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
So let's talk about LIKBF for a minute here. Um,
Sure.
you founded the group. When did you found it?
Back in 2016, and that's actually when I first started kayak fishing. So I was really only kayak fishing for a couple months, and then before I started the club. And the way I started it, there's a group here. It's a Facebook group. It's basically fishermen on Long Island, and I went on the Facebook group and I asked the person that was running the group at the time, Ricky Rodriguez. I said, "Do you mind if I put a little get together tournament together? Because I've been tournament fishing for a long time from a boat, but never from a kayak before." So I kind of looked into, how the tournaments ran and stuff like that. And it was kind of like a meet and greet. And we ended up having almost 30 people show up to this first little get together tournament. And then
Wow.
after the tour, yeah, it was a good turnout. And then after the tournament was done, I let everybody know that I was going to, host a meeting somewhere. One of the guys in the club let us use his father's office, and we had about 18 guys show up and sign up right there on the spot, and the club was founded. So, and yeah, it's we've come a long way. We've come a long way. I really love it. We got a great group of guys and good anglers, and it's like a brotherhood. So I look forward to seeing these guys, and I've become very good friends with many of them. So it's definitely a great thing.
It seems like that happens a lot in this community. Is once guys get together and form those clubs, they just become like family. I mean, we travel to all these larger events together, and then we meet other families, and it's just like it evolves into this huge family of kayak anglers. It's pretty insane.
That's my favorite part about it. I was in the Marine Corps for about 8 years, so
I was just
that.
gonna get into that.
Oh yeah.
That you're a veteran, and I wanted to thank you about that.
My
What
pleasure,
part of
brother.
the military were you in?
I was in the Marine Corps for 8 years, and I was stationed for 4 years in Camp Lejeune, and then 4 years in San Diego at Miramar. So the fishing out there is out of this world.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Much
But
different
with
than
the
here.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But with the club, that camaraderie that I had in the Marine Corps, I find that with these guys, and it's just it's a good feeling being a veteran who
Minus
got
the
out.
getting shot at.
Minus the getting shot at, yeah.
uh,
Unless
yeah. Uh, have you always lived on Long Island?
I did, I grew up here. Yep, I went to Connecticut High School. I grew up in Ronkonkoma, and then when I was about 23, I joined the Marines. After 9/11 happened. So,
Oh, you
and
went
then
in after 9/11.
after 9/11.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it was the best thing I ever did. I'd still be in, but I hurt my back. Got a little, a little close to a couple of rockets in Iraq, and which we'll call it. I'm fine, but my back's jacked up, so they made me non-deployable, and so they medically separated me and sent me home. So I came back here to live near my family, and then long story short, I met my wife a couple months after moving back, and here I am married with 3 kids. So
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest regrets in life is that I didn't go into the military. Um, Actually, I wasn't allowed to go into the military. I was a very bad child in my late teens and did some really stupid crap. We won't get into that, but yeah,
I
I wasn't allowed.
I that's why I joined to get away
Yeah,
from that type of stuff.
exactly. I wish I had somebody pushing me to go in before I decided to screw everything up.
Right.
Uh,
That happens.
yeah, it does. I'm different now. I've changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
um,
Same.
Now back to LIKBF. I went to the Peconic River Trail event, not last year, the year before.
Oh yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
event. That was a good
it
time.
was a fantastic event, and I just have to say that the way your club put that event on, I mean that sets the bar for how a trail event should be run. I mean it's not like you had this popular body of water that anglers from all over the world wanted to go and fish. Uh, but once everybody got there, it was fantastic. The way that you guys had it set up, the national anthem, the check in was perfect. And then after the event, you had the hot dogs and the hamburgers and all the raffle giveaways. I mean, that was fantastic. You guys definitely set the bar high. We need to see more clubs doing stuff like that.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. We all chipped in. We worked really hard on that. I got to hand it off to the whole club. Put in on that. We worked on that trail event for a couple months, and we reached out to sponsors and got donations, and everybody just chipped in. We had guys cooking, and I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. That's what it's all about. Was catering to the anglers from out of town mostly. So I'm glad it was a nice smooth event for you guys.
Yeah, it was great. I ended up walking out of there with one of those raffle buckets. It was fantastic.
A shout out to Rich Ranieri and his wife for putting those buckets together. They
Yeah,
did a
they
great
did a
job
great
on those.
job.
Absolutely.
You can tell that you guys have a real tight relationship and you work well together because without working well together, you can't make something that successful happen. We see it a lot. I mean, a lot of guys try to do things all by themselves so they get the pat on the back, and you can tell that you guys are not looking out for yourself. You're looking out for everybody.
Greatly appreciated. Yeah, we got a great group of guys. We all pull our ideas together. We come together as a team, and we really do work well together. So I'm very proud of this club.
Now, how many tournaments in your trail count towards your Angler of the Year?
So we fish 7 tournaments out of the season, and you get to drop your 2 lowest because everybody works. We have things that come up with family and stuff like that. So your best 5 out of 7 count.
Now, do you guys actually have seven different bodies of water on Long Island?
No, we don't. But we fish Connecticut, we fish upstate New York, we fish Jersey and Long Island, and we try to be fair. And we do actually have a couple of anglers in our club that live in Staten Island, so it's kind of a hike for them to do the Long Island events and vice versa. So we try to do one tournament on the island and then one tournament off the island. But as far as on Long Island, there's really only 2 bodies of water that we could technically are big enough to host a tournament, especially now that the club's growing. We have 20 or 30 anglers showing up to a tournament. So these 2 bodies of water are basically it that will cater to kayak fishing tournament.
Now, how was that growing up? Like you only had a couple of bodies of water to fish. Did you travel as a kid to go fishing, or you just grew up fishing those bodies of water?
I got to be honest with you. I didn't start fishing until I was in the Marine Corps. I started fishing shortly after I got back from my first deployment on from to Iraq, and I came home, and my buddies were happy to see me, and they took me out on my friend's boat. We went fishing to a little lake out on the east end of Long Island. I caught a 4 pounder my first time out, and I was hooked ever since. But as a kid, I didn't fish. I was very big into BMX racing, so that was kind of my whole thing. But yeah, now after I caught that first bass, I've been hooked ever since though. And I got into a couple clubs down in North Carolina. I was lucky enough to my first tournament fishing club. I had a great group of guys. They were all retired Marines or active duty, and they hooked me up with my first bass boat and everything. So it was definitely a good time. I had a lot of experience going across the country fishing different clubs as I was, going to different duty stations. So I took all that knowledge and put it into LIKBF. But yeah, to answer your question, I didn't really fish too much when I was a kid.
Wow. You're doing a hell of a job now.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a little bit on the obsessed side.
Yeah, I
I,
think I think a lot of us are.
yeah, I
Uh,
spend hours and hours watching YouTube videos and reading articles, and if I'm not working or with my family, I'm thinking about fishing. So.
Definitely. Um, Now you came from the bass boat side of things. Uh, Compare the two. Do you feel that one's better than the other, or they're both equal, or is there pros and cons to both?
There's pros and cons to both, like anything else. One cool thing about bass boat fishing is you could cover more water, obviously, but that could also get in your way. I like the live weigh-ins, which is cool, seeing what everybody brings to the scale and stuff. But my passion now is kayak fishing. There's nothing like it. It's just so much more personal. You're so much more up close with the fish, and I like everything involved with it. I feel like the camaraderie too. Um, in the kayak fishing community is better than the bass boat world. I don't know. I just, from my experience, that's what I see.
I would have to agree with you on that. I had a bass boat probably 10 years ago or so, and I fished some local club weeknight trails and things like that. And I would definitely have to say that the camaraderie in kayak fishing is on a whole nother level from the bass boat side of things. Um, I'm not bashing them at all. I'm just saying that I feel more like a family in a kayak tournament than I do at a bass boat tournament.
Absolutely, yeah, not to bash them at all. And I was fortunate enough to be in some great clubs. Like I said, East Carolina Anglers, the first club I was ever in. I mean, I was a rider. I fished with a different angler every time because it was a draw tournament, but you didn't draw the same angler twice. And these gentlemen taught me so much about fishing. And every angler I fished with was good at something different. They were willing to share everything with me, and they actually, cared about teaching me and me learning. And I was lucky enough to start out in the right spot, but that's kind of what I want to bring to my club and try and pass on to new anglers from that experience. So that's kind of what we're trying to build LIKBF around.
Definitely, I think that's the goal for most clubs. Uh, Tell us about your kayak setup, like your model, what type of electronics you're using.
Well, I fished most of the 2019 season out of a Bonafide SS 127. Love the boat. Awesome. I think it's one of the best designed kayaks ever made. You sit in that thing and you start fishing out of it, and you just all those little details that are put into that boat, they start to come together, and it's an amazing experience out on the water. The problem was I've been fishing bigger bodies of water now, and I went down with Rich Ranieri to fish the Upper Chesapeake Bay Trail event. We went about a mile and a half from where we launched, and the wind kicked up, and we weren't catching any fish as we went down river, and so we turned around to go back towards where we launched because the marina there was where we caught the only fish that we caught. And Rich was back at the ramp in 5 minutes. It took me 25 minutes of nonstop paddling. I mean, if I stopped paddling, I was moving backwards. And I said, at this point, I got to get a pedal drive. If I'm so invested in this kayak fishing thing, it's time to upgrade. So I ended up selling the Bonafide, and now I have a PA 14. So, and I love it. I only got to fish out of it 3 times. I got it at the end of the season, but I mean, I can't wait to get back in it. It's amazing.
Now, what made you choose the PA14 over any other pedal drive?
I'm a bigger guy, so I wanted the extra room. And a buddy of mine in the club has a PA 14. And I sat in his, and it's nice to be able to just right down next to my seat, my hog trough. I could actually lay it down in the space between the seat and the sidewall of the kayak, and just the room in that thing. I felt like, I wasn't sitting on a piece of plastic. I felt like I was sitting in a boat finally, and it was very comfortable. And I did some research, and I like the torque that's produced by the fins. I think the fins have a little more torque in them than some of the pedal drives with the prop. And a couple guys in our club have Hobies, and when they take off, I mean, they take off. So, but the main thing I liked was that extra space, and I just like the design of it. I like that front hatch, and the amount of storage that it has, and it's a comfortable boat.
Yeah, those
So
things are enormous. I was just at the New England Fishing Expo last weekend, and they had a 360 there, and the space inside that kayak is insane.
it is awesome. Well, the one I have the 2020 PA14 with the kick up fins, but it's still the 180 drive.
Right,
But the only difference in the two kayaks is the drive.
right.
But yeah, the one I have is probably exactly the same size as the one you saw. So and then earlier this season for the Bonafide, I got a trailer, so the PA14 fits perfectly on it. So
Now, what are you running for electronics?
I have I've had it for about 4 years now. Lowrance HDS7 Gen 3. So it's a great unit. I love it. I want to upgrade sooner or later to the newer HDS Live, but for now it's a great unit. It's going to last me a while.
Ricky J tuned in. He said, "What's up, Anthony?"
Ricky, what's up, brother? How's it going? Me, Ricky, and another gentleman, Mark Ferner, in our club, we're all getting ready to go down to Gunnersville, so we can't wait. So
Awesome.
I'll be traveling down there with Ricky, and then we got Rich Ranieri going with us, Paul Bonet, and
I
then
think
Jack.
Ricky was the one that caught the big bass in that Peconic tournament, wasn't he?
He finished second place.
Yeah.
Ken Wood won it.
Right.
He finished second. I finished third.
Right.
And then the year before, I think it was the first year I met Ken, and me and him were battling it out, and I ended up winning in
It
2017.
it seems
But
like no matter who's at the top, they're always battling it out with Ken.
I was just gonna say, it seems like Ken's always at the top,
Yeah.
so to be up there with him is a good accomplishment.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Ken Mitchell joined the show. Love this show. You're doing an awesome job with this. Thanks, Ken. Ken actually owns Kenco Fishing. It's a one man soft plastic bait shop out of Bangor, Maine. He's my soft plastic sponsor.
Oh,
Kenco
awesome.
Fishing. He makes great soft plastics. If you guys want to check him out, you guys that are
Yeah.
watching. Um, so now I'm assuming you got like a crate, black pack. How do you store your tackle?
I actually I ended up selling my black pack as part of the deal with my Bonafide, and then this year I have a geared up fishing crate. And actually, Rich Ranieri and Bobby in our club, they both make these packs and sell them. So it's a custom made pack. I'll post a picture of it on the page if you want. But it's an awesome crate. It's
Sure.
well thought out. It's got it comes with 6 rod holders, and then inside the crate there's these 2 bars that go across, so it keeps your Plano boxes up off the bottom of the crate in case it does get a little water in it.
Oh
But it
wow.
also has holes for drainage. It's a really nice crate, so I'm going to be running one of those this year, and it fits perfectly in the back of the Hobie.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've never seen it, so if you could post that, that'd be great.
I'll do it as soon as we finish up here.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Um, Now, besides your PFD, your tackle, your phone, your rods, the basic stuff, besides that kind of stuff, what is the most important thing to you on your kayak?
Other than my PFD and probably my hog trough, can't be dropping
Well,
that in the water.
I'm considering that basic stuff,
Yeah.
something that might be out of the ordinary that maybe not everybody else is using.
I'm trying to think. I basically keep it super simple when I fish. You could ask the guys in my club. I really don't take anything else with me.
Do you use
Other
like
than
leashes and stuff like that to hold all your gear, or you?
Not really.
Yeah,
No, my kayak's
me either.
very simple. Yeah, I'm trying to think as far as like accessory wise, probably my cup holder.
Yeah, there we go. There we
I
go.
got a cup holder. I really don't travel with. I have my whatchamacallit, um, the thing to hold my electronics. My
Yep,
RAM ball,
yep.
and that's it. I don't like too much stuff in my way. I like that open space, especially with the the PA-14. I'm not going to rig it up much more than I have it
Right.
already rigged right now.
You still got the
So
GoPros and stuff rigged up? You still take that?
oh yeah, the GoPros too. Yep, I do have those. Yeah, I do rig
Yeah.
those up.
You guys
I
check out
usually
Anthony's YouTube channel. He's got some good videos.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Absolutely.
All right. So, a new body of water. What's three baits you have tied on? Body of water you never been to before.
Some type of soft plastic. Definitely a search bait. Over the past couple of years, my favorite new bait has been a swim jig. And then let me see. I would
I'm a huge
that,
swim jig guy. I
me
love
too.
a
I
swim
have it
jig.
in my hand 90% of
Yep.
the time. Honestly, I feel like if I'm not getting bit on the jig, I'm getting bit on the soft plastics. And then if top water starts blowing up, I'd like to have some sort of top water bait tied on. But those three things, and then in the summertime, gotta have a frog.
Yeah. Definitely gotta
Uh,
have a frog,
but
especially on
probably
that
those.
Peconic River, man.
Yeah.
Those mats, man. You don't see those kinds of mats up north.
No,
Um,
no.
and I was surprised when I got down there, fished. It's not that far away from me. I mean, if I went across the ocean, it'd only take me an hour to get there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
I've done good
I was
out there
amazed.
punching.
You
Okay.
punched in there, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes that grass breaks up when the wind really blows, and then that grass will all come to the top, and then it'll mat together, and those mats will float on the top, and you'll see about 2 feet of clean water underneath them. When you find those mats, you got to punch them because they'll take the rod out of your hand. So
Ricky J says you bring three rods only,
he's right. He's right. I travel.
so you
Soft
really like
plastics.
to keep it simple.
I throw one worm, one color, and that's all I throw. And then swim jigs, I have two colors that I throw, and then I'll throw a frog, and that's 90% of the time. That's how I keep it.
That's awesome.
I do pretty well on it. Yeah, I don't go too crazy with picking different colors and different baits and this and that. I kind of, feel like I have a handful of baits that if I'm gonna get them on one of them, I'm gonna get them going on one of those baits.
He said lots of Monster Energy.
Yeah, that's why I need my cup holder.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I drink a lot of monsters out on the.
I tried to drink one of those things one time. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, I got to lay off them. I actually have laid off them since January 1st. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, so drinking a lot of water and hitting the gym every day, and I'm trying to stay away from those monsters. I think I've had one since the beginning of the new year, so
That's good. That's good.
wish me luck.
I
Yeah.
actually just started working out this week. It's been a
Oh,
while since I've worked out, and I definitely need it. My body's sore right now, but
I feel it feels good though. I
it
feel
does. I
great.
feel great. I do.
I've been every day 5 a.m. since January 1st. I haven't missed a day. So
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah, happy about that.
Need to be able to pedal miles for those tournaments.
Exactly.
That's what I've been doing. I've been doing the elliptical and the bike, working
Yep,
my
same
legs,
here.
and then just using dumbbells, 25-pound dumbbells, and just pumping out
It's all you need. It's
reps,
all you
man.
need.
Yeah,
Yep. I just turned 40, so I want to feel
I'm
healthy.
I'm almost there.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I turned 40, so I'm getting
Well,
there.
happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Yeah, fix my
Appreciate
seat
it.
a little bit.
Oh yeah, no.
Now, you've won Angler of the Year 3 years in a row. Tell us what has given you such success. What do you feel has given you that much success where you can continually be at the top 3 years in a row?
To the guys in my club, this is going to sound like a broken record, but positive mental attitude. Positive mental attitude is the number one fish catcher. It's the number one thing you need in your box at all times. It doesn't matter if you have the right rod, right bait. If your mind isn't right, you're not going to catch them. And I
You
just stay.
did you get that from the Gerald Swindle thing? The
I've honestly been saying this for years, to be honest with you, but I did watch his video, and it did motivate me, and it kind of reiterated on
right.
how I feel. But you could ask the guys in my club, man. So if I'm having a bad day, I'll pull over, I'll crack open a monster, drink it, and then I'll go back out there and win the tournament in the last hour. I don't know. I just stay positive. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I'll just put everything down. I'll take a look around, and look at where I am. I'm out on the lake. This is what I think about all week long when I'm working. I want to be out here. I'm out here right now. I'm going to be back at work tomorrow. Even if I don't win this thing, let's just go have some fun. And usually that resets me, and I end up getting into some fish. So you can't let it beat you up, otherwise it will. It will.
That's
So
that's something that I've been working on recently. Same with the health thing now. Positive mental attitude is something that I've been working on. I've been watching a ton of videos on it. Of course, Gerald Swindle, and I even wear the elastic to
oh, there you
to
go.
whack myself every time I have a negative thought. It works, man. I'm hoping it works in my fishing because I'm a person that gets in my own head a lot.
Right.
Uh, One mistake, Lake George, for example. I mean, everybody knows the bite there was fantastic. I lost a 19-inch fish and blew my day. First thing in the morning, I just never recovered. I got in my own head, and by the time I recovered, it was like 1 o'clock, and it was too late. I started catching
Right.
fish again, but it was too late. So I hope that works out for me. And from the guys that I've had on this show, that seems to be the common success story. Everybody says their positive mental attitude, or they're keeping calm under pressure, um, things like that is more for their success than a bait or a technique.
It truly is. And I honestly, I've been at the other end of the spectrum. And, when I was a younger kid, 18, 19 years old, I was a bit of a hothead. And it just doesn't get you anywhere. You get in your own way that way, and you'll beat yourself up, and you'll put yourself out of it before you even get a chance to turn around.
Yep,
So
before you even
I,
get a chance, you show up at the ramp in the morning and you're like, "Oh, this place sucks. It's over. You're
right.
done."
And we all have those days where
Yep.
it just you can't help it. You can't help it. You're just having a bad day, and sometimes it is the best thing to just pack it up and try again another day. But a lot of times I see I'll come back by the ramp at the end of a tournament, and a lot of guys are already packed up, ready for that long ride home, and I end up catching that last fish, and it ends up boosting me up to the top sometimes. So I just keep grinding till the end and try and but you got to love it too. Loving what you're doing definitely helps you, get in that right mind as well. So I
Absolutely.
truly have a passion for this thing, and I think that's a big part of it.
Now, what's your favorite body of water to fish that your club fishes?
Probably Mayopack Lake. Mayopack is a great smallie lake. I mean, you could go there and catch 20, 30 smallies in a day between 2 to 4 pounds, and it's just when that lake is on fire. I think it was last year, the not last year, the year before. We just caught it on the right day, and every angler was actually even last year too. We usually fish it in May, and when we hit that lake right, I mean, everybody's putting up big bags. And it becomes a matter of like quarter inches who's going to win. Between first to 10th place is like maybe an inch difference.
Those
So
are the best
it,
ones. Oh, I love
yeah,
those
yeah,
tournaments. Now,
yep.
do you guys turn your standings off before the end, or you just let it run right through?
I think we did that in a couple of tournaments. I like leaving it on because I know my wife likes watching it, and some of the families like checking out to see who's in the leaderboard. We usually leave it on. I think there was a couple of tournaments where we shut it off. That's definitely a topic for discussion at our first meeting this year, though. I think we mentioned that, when we were talking about what we were gonna bring up to discuss for 2020.
Yeah, I wish Attorney X would come up with a way that, uh, like, the public could see it, but the anglers couldn't. You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure they'll get there. Dwayne's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
he is. He
You know,
really is.
all you got to do is ask him,
Yeah,
and he'll make it happen. So.
it would be great if they did that. If they could have like the leaderboard, the public could see it, but the anglers couldn't. That way, there when you show up to the ramp, you don't know who won. You know.
Right. I don't like to know. I check it maybe once a day, and I upload my fish as soon as I catch them. I don't like to sandbag. God forbid I drop my phone in the water. I get too nervous. So I upload my fish. When I catch a fish, it gets uploaded right then and there on the spot. But I don't really like to check the leaderboard. I might check it towards the end of the day, or a lot of times I'll get that text message from my wife, and she's going to tell me anyway. So.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I sandbag. I'm gonna admit it. I've admitted it on here before. I sandbag. One of the biggest reasons I sandbag is because if you start uploading a good amount of fish on these smaller bodies of water, you start to get company real fast.
I that's the one thing. Yep, what we were saying, apples to oranges before, right? Between
Yep.
bass fishing, that's true. Yeah, there's strategy. There's
Yep.
definitely strategy into when you upload your fish. Which we're talking about trying to find a way to incorporate the type of big bass brawl into our club, and that will keep anglers uploading their fish, and it spreads the money out a little bit more. So we're going to talk about that at our first meeting. So guys that are watching,
Yeah. Now,
that's going to be
now, what do you
topic
think
for
about that?
discussion.
How KBF set up the pay structure this year? Did you see how they laid it out? How they're paying deeper into the field with the big bass brawls and stuff?
I think that's a great thing. Yeah, more people. I mean, a lot of guys, especially a lot of guys travel for these events, especially if you're in the pro series and stuff. They're not cheap, and so it's good to spread that money out a little bit more. Even if a guy covers his entry fee, it's still, it's something. It's nice. It keeps people coming back more.
Definitely.
I think it's a good thing.
I think if they want to take it to that pro level, they need to pay further into the field so that guys can make a living at it. I mean, you can't take all that time off of work and quit your job and stuff if you're not getting paid. Um, so I think they
Yep.
definitely need to pay out deeper into the field. And I think this big bass brawl thing is going to work out. I mean, me and my brother were comparing. He got the big bass of the day at the Winnipesaukee tournament, um,
Nice.
and we compared it to the new pay structure, and that one fish would have got him like $1,200.
Oh wow, that would have been a nice payday,
Yeah,
for one. And it's
I
not.
mean,
Yeah,
I mean
it's
the 550 wasn't bad that he got at the tournament, but the 12 whatever it was when we calculated it, I mean that would be a hell of a payday for one fish.
that's a difference between covering your expenses for the tournament and going home, with some cash in your pocket.
Right,
So it's nice, and it'll get there. And I know KBF. Got to give a shout out. They're doing great things. I see how hard it is running this club.
right.
With the great group of guys that we have who all agree all the time, and you see the murder that Chad gets, unfortunately, on online sometimes.
Yeah,
Some of the comments.
uh,
It's
it's a
uncalled
shame.
for.
I saw a post today, and I'm not gonna say who it was, but I'm pretty sure everybody will know. And they said that the Elite Kayak series starts tomorrow. It's just a stab, man. I can't stand that kind of stuff. If you want to call yourself elite, that's fine, but you don't have to make a stab. Like it just,
Right.
damn well it was a stab at the KBF community. Um, it, KBF is the grassroots. That's where it all started. Of course, all these other ones that are getting bigger and bigger, and Bass Nation now with their thing. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a higher level of kayak fishing, but I just can't stand that the stabs and the drama and how Chad just gets beat up. Um, I've met Chad, and he never rubbed me the wrong way, so I just don't see the point of
No,
people
yeah,
hating
I've
on
I've
him.
met him too. He's a great guy, and he does a lot. And they work hard for us. A lot. It's all for us. Most of it's for us. It's like they're busting their butts for us, and people aren't grateful for it. But those are those negative people, with not with positive mental attitude, and
Exactly.
they just got to tear things down. And you're always going to get that. And with any great organization, any sports team, you're always going to get that. It just comes with it, and you got to just kind of understand and kind of just brush it off. And I think Chad's come a long way with, realizing that and turning a leaf. And he doesn't even go back at people now. Keeps his eye on the prize and just, keeps working towards a goal. And he knows he's got, the majority of us with him. And let the haters hate. It's going to happen. So we can't stop it. And
The, your haters are your biggest fans.
exactly. And the more you know, they get under your skin, you let them, they're winning. So don't let them win.
Now, the Northeast region this year, the trails. Are you going for it? You gonna travel to those events?
I'm gonna do as many as I can. My wife is going through a career change shortly, and so our schedule's gonna be changing. It's a great thing, but I promised her last year too because I went a little crazy with. I got the boat and the bona fide, then I sold the bona fide and got the. So I told her I'd chill. And then I talked to her to let me go to the national championship and spend another God knows how much. So I got to pick and choose my battles. And I get now my kids are getting a little older. They're getting into like sports and stuff like that. So I gotta really say I want to try. I'm definitely gonna make Lake George, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna try and make as many as I can.
Yeah, I'll definitely be at Lake George and definitely at the Susquehanna. Uh,
Oh, absolutely. That's a good one. I haven't fished the Susquehanna yet,
oh
so
man,
it's on my list.
phenomenal place to
It
fish.
is, huh? Yeah, I got to check it
Phenomenal.
out.
I mean, the last time I was there, I caught fish all day long. I don't even know how many fish I caught. It was just constant all day long, and I fished a 100-yard stretch.
Oh, that's why I love river fishing too. I love fishing rivers. So,
Yeah, the
uh,
river was super high, so I couldn't go very far. Just fished a current break, and they were there.
absolutely. Yep. Yeah. If you know how to fish a river, you could really figure out where they're at just by watching the water movement.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now you said you're going to the NC. Uh, what's your plans for that? When are you planning to go down?
We're gonna leave that Sunday before. We're gonna get down there Monday, and then we're gonna pre-fish. If we get down there, we're gonna leave Sunday night and drive through the night. Probably get there sometime around noon on Monday. I want to spend a couple hours going out just with my electronics and kind of taking a look around. I've done a ton of research using Navionics and Google Earth and looking at past tournaments and all sorts of articles and stuff. So I want to go out for a couple hours on Monday and kind of just do some searching and then really pre-fish Tuesday, Wednesday. I have about 5 spots picked out that I want to go check out. So
You've
we'll
narrowed
probably
it down to a lot less than I've got. I think I'm at like 15. I've narrowed it down to 15. I'd love to get down to five.
that's where I'm at now. Yeah. Who knows though? After we really pull ourselves together, and we're probably gonna have a meeting. All the guys going to the club on a weekend, have a couple beers, and kind of talk about our strategy. So it'll be back up at 15 by the time we go. We're gonna probably have 2 vehicles going down there, 3 anglers in each vehicle. So we might split up a little bit, to cover more ground, and then kind of pull our thoughts together at the end of the evening. But we're staying in a pretty cool spot down there too. We're staying in like a bunkhouse. It's a 5-bedroom bunkhouse, and they have a fire pit outside. So after fishing, I plan on having a couple beers by the fire and figuring out game plan. So
Exactly. That's all part of the trip, man. You gotta have that the campfire and the beers.
absolutely.
That's what makes it great.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm counting down the days.
And me too. Me too. I can't wait. Your 2020 goals. What's some of your goals for the 2020 season?
I know crankbaits are big on Gunnersville, so I plan on starting right there. That's always been a weak point for me is crankbait fishing, so I'm going to experiment with that a lot this season. I definitely want to get better at that. My goal is to win Angler of the Year again, and try and make as many trail events as I can, and take a shot at this national championship. Who knows? See what happens. I'm going to give it my best.
Yeah, I'm definitely going down there for the win. My goal is top 100 because again, with this positive mental attitude thing and stuff, I'm trying to make realistic goals instead of
Right.
super big goals and then getting discouraged when I don't get there.
Absolutely.
Of course,
That's
my first year in kayak fishing, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna win everything," and then I was like, "Bam in your face! Good luck! You're not winning nothing."
it's not as easy as yeah, it's
Yeah,
not as easy.
it's totally different. Tournament fishing and going out fishing with your buddies is two totally different things. Uh, a lot of people don't realize that. Guys think because they go out on a Sunday with their buddy and they can catch 6 5-pounders that on tournament day they're gonna do the same thing, and it's completely different.
It really is. Yeah, you really have to adapt and adjust and manage time, and there's so much to it. But I love competitive fishing. It's a lot of fun.
Me too. I can't think of any other fishing to do. It's like every time I'm on the water, I'm competing. Even if I'm not competing, I'm competing against myself. I'll be like, I need to catch 5 fish within an hour, and it's
Right.
crazy. It's crazy.
That's always the competition
Yep.
right there, right? It's you against the fish,
Yep.
always. Yep. Absolutely.
Guys, let's get in these comments. If you got any questions for Anthony, I don't even know how to pronounce Essage. Do you know who that is?
Oh, Jesse, yeah.
Oh, he spells it backwards.
Yeah, Jesse pal. Yeah.
He says, "My man, much love, brother."
Love you, brother. Thank you. Can't wait. Yeah, he's going to be joining the club this year. He joined last year, but he didn't get to fish too much. I plan on seeing more of him this year. Jesse, we look forward to seeing you at the first meeting, bro.
Ricky J says his main goal is to dethrone Anthony.
Bring it, brother. Let's go. I'm ready. I got a bullseye on my back, and that's it. I'm going to keep gunning, and I hope somebody does take it down. Let's see what happens. But I'm fighting for it.
I don't see it happening 3 years in a row. I mean, the guy's doing something right. He's always positive, always happy. Every time I've seen you, you've been happy. I've never seen anything negative.
Absolutely. I try.
Jonathan Mendez is in the house.
Jonathan, what's up, bro?
Jonathan's a great guy. Oh, I love that kid. I love him. Bass Bully Nation.
Absolutely. I think he's coming back to the club this year, too.
I saw a couple posts, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely.
That's great. I actually met Jonathan at the Peconic Trail event 2 years ago.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
Yeah, he was there, a bunch of the guys. Absolutely.
Jonathan's been good to us with Bass Bully, to my club, Ocean State Kayak Bass, and Jonathan's been good to us. He's helped us out with a lot of things, sent us some stuff. Great guy.
Absolutely, yeah, he did. I'm very happy for him. He's done very well with Bass Bully Nation, and worked with Chad Hoover to create a T-shirt.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's big stuff right there. Absolutely.
Yep.
My hat's off to him. Great job.
You guys got any questions before I ask my last couple of questions? George Valentine, ever fish Prospect Lake in Brooklyn?
No, I haven't. I've never fished anything west of Suffolk County, and never really fished in Nassau or anything over that way. I got to check it out though. Is it good fishing?
George, good fishing on Prospect Lake? We'll see if he tunes in. There's always a little lag between Facebook. Jonathan says he's glad he was able to help. Looking forward to the season.
Nice. We're all looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. We got no ice this year, so you couldn't ice fish. And it's like too cold to go out on the kayak, and you get the skim, the little bit of skim ice, and I'm not about to puncture my kayak with ice.
We still got February to go through, though.
Yeah.
I lucked out, though. My birthday was a couple weeks ago, and it was 60 degrees almost.
Oh, so that's when your birthday was? I went out.
That was my January 11th. It was my birthday, and I went out, too. I'm like, it's my birthday. I'm going fishing this morning. I went out with another buddy in the club. I caught a small pickerel, but, hey, it was something.
Yeah, man. I didn't catch anything, but it was great to be out there. It was like 60-something degrees. I didn't even care that I wasn't getting bites.
It was too much of a tease, though. It really was.
Yeah, it was. George says it's the highest concentration of bass in the state.
Oh, wow. I got to go check it out. Absolutely.
He says, slow texter. That's funny, George.
Don't feel bad. I think I sent Jay probably, I don't know, 50 messages on how to get on the Skype thing and get this set up throughout the week.
Hey, there's definitely been some guys that had a lot more trouble than you did. You're a little tech savvy, so you figured it out. What some guys have no clue.
Not too tech savvy. I went and bought a webcam today from Best Buy, and I had one built in my laptop. I didn't know how to turn it on, so now I got to return this thing tomorrow. So.
That's funny. Jesse says, Anthony is one of the greatest dudes I have ever met. Good people. Our whole club is filled with amazing people. That is why I joined. They made me feel like family when things were really tough for me with my mom being sick. It's an amazing, truly grateful.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, God bless you, and I'm glad your mom's doing better. Absolutely. We definitely look out for each other. You know, there's been times we were down. One time, Jonathan Mendez was in the hospital, and we sent him a couple trays of food and stuff like that. And we're trying to, do things this year to give back to the community. And we just donated some money a couple days ago to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. So we try to, to be more than just a fishing club. It's
Yeah,
we're more like a family.
I think at the Peconic you guys did some kind of charity thing too. Wasn't it for Jonathan's like a
Yeah,
nephew or something like that, maybe?
a friend of his is a couple. I met them with that check. Actually, I handed it to them, and they were in tears. I think their son was born. His intestines were on the
Yeah,
outside
yeah,
of his
yep, yep.
body, and he had to go through several surgeries. And he's doing great now. I follow him on Facebook, and he's a beautiful little kid, and he made a full recovery. But I'm glad we were able to help them out in a time of need, and help them pay some bills so that they could spend more time at the hospital with him. So I'm happy, and proud that our club does things like that.
That's awesome. I hope one day that my club can get to that level. We're still new. This is our second year. Um, so I definitely hope that our club can do things similar to what you guys have done to
Absolutely.
help the community.
A lot of it has to do too. A lot of people are like, well, why do you have dues for your club? Why is it $100 to fish for the year? But you get so much more back for your money, and we're able to do so much more things in the club with that money. It goes a long way. So definitely, the structure of the club helps play into that.
Jonathan says, yes, you did. Guys also help out with donations to Little Christian uh, and as well with my cousin's son as well. LIKBF is also doing stuff for the community. That's great, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, I plan on doing a couple lake cleanups this year, something like that. I want to get out there and, you know.
Mark says this year you'll be focusing a lot on lake conservation.
Yes, yep. We plan on doing, like I said, some lake cleanups and get in the community. I want to get my kids out there and, have them involved and, maybe do a barbecue afterwards and something like that, or maybe do a little fishing tournament in the morning and then go clean up one of the lakes around here. Because unfortunately, they do get a lot of trash.
Yeah,
We have these tiny. We don't really have lakes on Long Island. They're like tiny ponds
right.
compared to some of the other lakes, and they're way overfished. And the amount of junk that gets left behind by people who just don't care, it's a lot. So.
Yeah, same here in Rhode Island. Any place that's overpopulated like that, you get that. Guys just leave their trash everywhere. One of my honey holes is like that, and unfortunately, they're probably going to shut the fishing down there because there's no ramp or anything. It's a roadside pond. You got to go over the guardrail with your kayak, but all the local guys, they go over there and fish from the bank, and they just leave everything. Their beer
Uh,
bottles, their Snickers wrappers, and it's all over the bank. I go there and pick up, and I actually put a trash can there, hoping that people would use it. And some guys use it, but not everybody.
One thing I got to say is I noticed most of the people who actually have a passion for fishing, they keep it clean. It's a lot of the kids that go and hang out, or a lot of people that don't really fish on a daily basis or a weekly basis that which we'll call it that leave the trash behind. So
Ricky says the bass spawn on the chip bags.
All right, Ricky. Now I know that pattern that you ran to get that second place in the trail event. I got to write that one down.
That's funny. And beer cans.
Yeah, there's a lot of shiny stuff in the water.
All right, this is a question that I ask everybody: your top 5 anglers of all time.
I've been watching these guys forever. So Kevin Van Dam, Edwin Evers, Timmy Horton, um, Rick Clunn, and Mike Iaconelli, definitely. When I was in the
No
Marine Corps, and
hesitation. You knew right off the bat who you were
well, they were
picking.
all on the Bass Pros
You're right.
seasons 1 through 10. And when I first started fishing, one of the guys in my club, he said, "Go get one of these DVDs when you go down to Bass Pro Shops." So I bought one of these DVDs, and I would sit in my rack every night and watch that DVD over and over. Before you know it, I had a stack of DVDs like this, and I would sit and just rotate watching them. That's all I did during the week. Instead of going out or doing anything, I would sit there and watch fishing videos. And these were the guys that taught me how to fish. So that's why I was able to fire off their names so fast.
Awesome. Uh, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that I didn't cover in this interview? Is there anything about your season that you would like to talk about? We got about 10 more minutes.
No, it's probably one of my best seasons overall. I'll just run through it real quick. I started off on a strong note. Then I had a couple tournaments where I kind of sagged down a little bit and didn't do so well. I didn't do well at Mayo Pack, not for lack of trying, but it's just like I said, the numbers were so tight there. The competition was so tight. I had a solid bag and wound up in 10th place. Then I fished the trail events. I didn't do as well as I would like to. And then I fished my kryptonite lake, which is Fort Pond out in Montauk on Long Island. So that's another goal of mine this year is to catch a solid bag out of that place. And then I kind of just turned it around. I said, you know what? I'm gonna. I was at the Upper Chesapeake Bay event with Rich Ranieri, and we shared a room together. And I'm like, listen, bro. I'm just gonna turn it out around tomorrow. We had the Upper Chesapeake Bay Saturday, and we went to Manasquan. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go out there and have fun. And I had a crappy day on the Upper Chesapeake Bay. My on the way down there, my lid blew off of my bona fide, so I fished the whole tournament with no front hatch. And when that wind kicked up, water was coming in. It was just a rough day, and I came off the water and I was beat. And we drove like 2.5 hours to go to a place. I talked somebody on the phone to sell me a new hatch off of one of their floor models. Anyway, long story short, we finally got to the hotel. I said, Rich, I'm just gonna go out there and have fun tomorrow. I said, I'm gonna win this thing tomorrow, and I ended up winning that tournament. And I had like I think 2 or 3 wins after that, and I just again I just reset. I reset in my mind. I'm like I'm just gonna go out there and have fun, and I did. So that's one thing I'm going to continue to do this season. Uh, but I think that's what did it last season, and I think that's what's done it the past couple seasons.
It sounds like it. I mean, you definitely got your mind right, man. Everybody has bad days, but it seems like the guys that can adjust to it and just realize that those days are going to happen are the guys that do the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I just can't wait. I'm looking forward to kicking the season off. It's going to be a great time.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Uh, the NC can't get here fast enough. Um, I'm even thinking about possibly going to Santee Cooper just to get my line wet.
Oh, that's another bucket list lake of mine.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to fish Gunnersville though, because like I said, I used to watch those bands, and all of them were filmed on Gunnersville. That's a lake that's been on my bucket list for years. So I'm just happy just to be going down there just to fish that lake, just for fun. So being that I'm fishing a kayak fishing tournament on there, the biggest kayak fishing tournament, I'm stoked. I'm stoked.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Gunnersville is bucket list for me also. I've qualified for the NC 3 years in a row, and I've never gone. So this year when they said Gunnersville, I was like, absolutely. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to Gunnersville.
Oh, it's a great time. I went what was it, 2 years ago? 2 or 3? No, 3 years ago I went to the national championship when it was on Kentucky Lake, and I haven't been since. Because of family stuff that
Right.
was going on. So I'm happy to get back into it this year. It was a great time when I went down there, and it was one of their first ones. So I could just see from watching online and stuff. It's come a long way. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like the expo and stuff that they do now before the tournament. I guess they got food trucks and all that kind of stuff that'll be there. Uh, I'm a
I,
lifetime member now too, so I get that lifetime VIP room. I can't wait to see what we got up in there.
Oh, that's nice. That's gonna be sweet. Yeah, let me know. Let me know.
All right, I'm gonna let you thank whoever you need to thank and whoever you want to thank, and then we'll get you off of here. I just want to say thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to fishing with you again this season.
You too, brother. I want to thank you for having me on here. It was a pleasure. It was good. It filled that little gap being able to sit and talk fishing for an hour. So I appreciate that. I want to thank everybody in my club. I'm looking forward to a great year with you guys again this year. I want to thank KBF for everything that they do. And I'd like to thank Ego Fishing, Yak Attack, and Fishing Online. They've been really big sponsors for us the past couple of years. And then, of course, my family, my wife for you know, holding down the fort while I'm fishing. So thank you.
Awesome. All right, we'll get you off of here, and we'll see you on the water. Thanks for
Uh,
joining us.
Take care, guys. Enjoy the Super Bowl as well.
You
Enjoy the
too.
game, brother.
I've given up on
Absolutely.
professional ball, though. I'm done with professional ball. They've ruined it. They've ruined
Yeah,
it.
they have, but I'm looking forward to having a beer and a little cheat
Yeah,
meal. So,
yeah, definitely. All right, thanks
all
for
right.
being on here.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
You too. All right, guys. That was Anthony from LIKBF. A lot of you already know who he was before he got on here. Um, that was a great episode. I like Anthony. He's a great guy. His club has done great things, and they continue to do great things. So they'll definitely be back on here to talk fishing in the future. Next week, Tuesday, we have Dylan Napoleon. He is from Connecticut. This is a young kid. He runs the high school series for New England Bassin. So I'm definitely looking forward to talking to him. I love to talk to the young kids and get their input on the growth of the sport and everything. I mean, they're the future. So that'll be great. And then the 6th, we have Rod Merritt. He is Angler of the Year from Kayak Bass Anglers of Maine. And then February 7th, Jason Gardner, the director from Maniac Anglers, and also your Northeast Region KBF director. So I can't wait to get him on here and we can pick his brain and see how these trails are going to go for us this season. So we'll see you next week, guys, on Tuesday. Tight lines, good times. See you next time. Thanks for watching.